Hello, everyone. I am Kristen Wister, and I'm the creator of the Landenberg Loft, which is a retreat space. It's for spiritual nourishment and educational empowerment, and I'm sitting in it right now. And I'm here with Richard Chambers, who has many roles in life. He's a wisdom keeper and a healer, Akashic record reader, and so much more. And he is on the board of the Kalama Foundation. And today we are coming together to discuss a very exciting event that is happening. And I'm calling it the Wisdom Keepers Mother Earth Benefit. It's a mouthful. And it's an indigenous tribe from the Sierra Nevadas in Colombia that are coming to the East Coast to spread the word and their magic of what they do. And I'm so honored to welcome them and be a sponsor of this particular event. And the beautiful thing is it's going to be both live in person here at the Landenberg Loft on December the 10th from 4 to 6, as well as live streamed on Zoom. So everyone can benefit and enjoy this beautiful message that they have to offer. And I met you, Richard, and this tribe was it September in Mount Shasta? I can't quite remember if that's
Yeah, it's all a
what
blur a little bit, but I
it
believe
is.
it was September.
Yeah.
Yeah, late
And yeah,
early
I think
October.
early October, something like that. That was my first time of meeting you and meeting the Mamos, the holy people of this indigenous tribe. And my heart was really broken open with the purity of who they are and the way that they live and how deeply connected they are to the earth and their reverence and this ancient wisdom and knowledge that they carry. And it just changed me when I was in their presence. Their message is so simple and it was just so beautiful. And so when I found out they were coming here, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, let me have them come and share. And so I'm very excited and honored. And I know so very little in comparison to what you know. And I'm kind of curious about how you have become one of their messengers for the Mamos and how you got started in this.
Yeah. Thank you for hosting the Mamos there, and we're excited to, uh, hold that co-event together with the Kolama Foundation as well. My connection with the Mamos began probably before I even knew, right? I remember when I was first going through like shamanic apprentice when probably about 10 plus years ago, hearing about these mystical wisdom keepers that lived high up in the mountains in Colombia in the caves, and they were still, keeping the ancient practices alive. And when I first heard of this, I thought there's probably none of them left on the planet at this time.
Mhm.
I really wondered about that. And then about 10 years later or so, I was, just meditating and on certain things with my own body and asking like when was the last lifetime I had where my body felt safe, like it felt really connected with the earth. And it was when I was in a tribal lifetime, and
Mm.
I then was just started, asking the universe these questions like, is there anyone on this planet that still has this tribal blueprint for our physical bodies that would, holds that wholeness that, because many of us have walked away from our sacred connection of the land, whether it's through moving or whatever it may be. We've all experienced so many different things in our lifetimes and in our ancestry, whether it's war, you know, genocide. So the next morning, I actually received the email to sit in with the Kogi elders. And
Wow.
that for me was like, okay, this is different. And they're the ones that have been living outside of what we would call, the Western world or the Matrix. They've been just in the mountains, meditating and doing their thing, being the guardians of Mother Earth and guarding the spirit and living their ancient ways. And after that meeting, that sit-in, they reached out to me and just said that I've been walking on the mountain for the last few years, and they know me, and that it was important for to go and visit and see them. So I'll make the short version, but we ended up going to Colombia and then, you know, walking with them, sitting with them, eating with them, just living as they lived for, you know, a little bit and going through awakening walks in the jungle. And that was it. I just um, kind of fell into this role, I guess you would say, that it's not something I asked for, it's not something I called for. It's just there's a heart connection that we all share, and we share the same message around really wanting to support the planet and everybody on the planet as we start to go through some of the changes that are happening now.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it was just such a destined to be kind of knowingness about it. And yeah, just because when I talk to you, it just flows out of you, and we're not familiar with this type of connection. And when when I was offered the opportunity for them to come, I was really excited. And then I thought, well, wait, what will people get this? And will they understand the message? And
Mm.
like my ego started to come in, and I started to get a little fearful, because I wanted to make it worthwhile for them. And what was interesting was right outside, straight ahead here, outside my loft, for 3 days, a pair of eagles showed up in a tree, which they never do. I mean, I've lived here for like 20 years and maybe seen an eagle once. And for 3 days, they were right there in my face. And then I thought, okay, yeah, it's time. It's time.
It's interesting because when the mamos said I was coming in meditation in their temples, like they said, I came in as the eagle as well, right?
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, which to me, the eagle represents North America, right? It represents North
Mm.
America, but it seems to be a totem that comes up for all of us on this journey with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. So, um, how long have they been around? I mean, and our friend was saying, Misty was telling me that they've never been conquested, so they're just like so pure and so connected, and it's hard to really understand that. Can you
Yeah. So
share that?
if we were to look at Colombia, right? So before Colombia, it was the Tairona people, Tairona, till the Spanish came in and started to colonize. And that's after that, it became Colombia, right? So when the Spanish were coming in and colonizing, the Tairona people all started, fleeing. And some of them did and some of them didn't. And there was a lot that, went through, um, obviously, that colonization where the four tribes of the Kogi, the Arawakos, the Wiwas, and the Kwankamos, they went up the Sierra Nevada mountains. And there's 137 coastal mountains. It's huge. So they
Right.
went up the mountains and they just kept going up higher and higher and higher. And the Spanish just didn't want to go up there. So they didn't make it to the areas where they were because it's quite a trek, and that's then they lived up there, so while the colonization of the western world, or I guess Europe, was happening in South America, they were outside of that. They were kept all their traditions, their teachings for the last few hundred years, like undisturbed. So
Mm,
then that's really powerful to have you know ancient indigenous lineages that still have all their teachings intact.
yes.
Yeah, so they make their own clothes, they grow their own food, they have their own, like, education systems, they have their own um like spiritual practices, and these are things that have been done since the beginning of time, right? From the sacred fires to the work they do in their sacred caves. And of the four tribes, The spiritual elders that are male are called mamos. The spiritual elders from the four tribes that are female are called zagas. So we have the mamos and zagas, who are the leaders or the elders of the tribes, that then set up all the systems. They take care of everyone. They make sure that the spiritual integrity and that guardianship and sacred connection with Mother Earth and the universe is always maintained and in order.
That's amazing. And those are the people that are coming here, the mamos and the Zaga, and then a translator. And it works really smoothly, actually. It's pretty amazing how they're speaking their indigenous language and then translated to Spanish and then Spanish to English. And it's very seamless. Um,
Yeah, it is. And we're blessed. Nelson does a wonderful job in the translation, and because it's not just words, it's energy too, right?
mm,
It's an energetic transmission. And if it's really an important role for the translator to be able to also like hold the frequency. If you listen to and getting to hear the actual like their native tongues, it's so activating when they're
it is.
speaking in their native language. It's, you can feel it in your heart, you can feel it, in your spirit, and just all kinds of things are moving and activating as they're sharing as well.
It's so, so beautiful. And I was listening to the documentary. I had written it down. Um, the documentary of the Aluna. I'm trying to see what it's called. Do you remember what it's called? The something about the Kogi. Well, we'll put the link in it, but it's a documentary about them. And
Aluna. Yeah.
yeah, what's it called?
Aluna.
Okay, just Aluna. Okay, Aluna.
Yeah.
And they were saying that our notion of that each generation knows more than the next, and their notion is that each generation of theirs knows less. And
Yeah.
when you wrap your head around that, it's like that makes total sense, really. It's like they're holding on to such ancient wisdom, and they have to teach it to the next generation for them to really understand it and plant it into their body and in their hearts and in their minds. And we are completely the opposite, kind of disconnected, and in this modern world where it's moving so fast that we've just kind of forgotten those, I
Who
mean,
we are.
basic roots and things. It's just fascinating, really.
Yeah, it's powerful. They always are sharing with me that if you want to come into, alignment and balance and harmony in your life, you got to simplify it. We have to
Yes.
simplify our lives. And our lives are so busy and so complicated.
Yeah.
We don't even recognize, what's in front of us. We all used to be able to just walk outside and, receive the messages from the clouds, the messages from the trees, the rocks would talk to us, and the animals and the birds, right? And the wind. We used to just receive the messages because we were so connected with like the
Mm,
spirit of everything. But now we don't hear the messages from the earth. We don't hear the messages from the plants. We don't hear the messages from the sun or from the wind. We've come into this place of thinking we know so much, but really, what do we know when we're not connected to, that everything? Like, we're not connected to the spirit of all. We're not connected to ourselves, right?
mhm, mhm. So true. I remember them saying, I had written down when I was with them in ceremony, and they were saying, know thyself. And, it's just like that's such a powerful thing to really know yourself, and that um, you are a spiritual being. So it's like you're spiritual every day, at every moment, at every hour, and every part of life is sacred. And when you honor yourself and love yourself, then you can honor and love the plants and the animals and the earth and everything else. And it's so interconnected, and just like the cries that are happening on this earth with the fires and the earthquakes and, just all the things are just a representation of what's going on with humanity. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's we're so interconnected. And I also loved their message of this interconnectedness and how they call us little brothers. And in their documentary, and when they're showing this awful stuff that people have done and disrupted the earth with big power plants and whatnot, and they just say it kind of in this very matter of fact, little brothers are doing this. And it's not like they're still coming from this place of love and wisdom, but deep knowledge. And it's very humbling. It's very, very humbling.
It is. And even more so than that, it's like all of the stuff that's happening when you're with them that you can't see, right? Because they are such um, very powerful beings that are so connected with the earth, but also connected with the universe. And they are, um, they're operating in a different world, right? They're in the spirit world. And especially, there's the four tribes, but part of their role is being the guardians of the spirit, right? So the spirit of the earth, the spirit of the plants, the spirit of the animals, they're in this guardianship role where they are mainly like in the spirit world while kind of walking here. And so it's a really um, powerful experience just to be around them. Like when we take people down to the Sierra Nevada mountains, like community leaders and certain people that are meant to meet them, and they're always want to know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And you don't have to do anything, because it's
Mm,
just by being there and actually letting go of the doing, you start to open up to the experience of the being, right? And that's where everything starts to really start to come alive again. So having like an opportunity to come and meet them is probably one of the more rare experiences on the planet, is to be able to sit with one of these indigenous elders from the Sierra Nevada. So I think, with them coming into uh, the Lunenburg Loft in Pennsylvania, it's going to be such a beautiful, intimate space that's really going to just create such a powerful experience for everyone that's there.
mm. So what is their sacred mission? Like, why are they coming to us? I think I remember them saying something like, we've been calling for you to come to us for, I don't know, thousands of years, and no one came, so now we're coming to you. So why are they calling us? What do they want to share? What is their sacred mission? It's a big
Well,
question.
yeah, it's a huge question.
Question.
Um, what do they want to share? Well, I think the first place that we should begin with is we're all brothers and sisters of the same earth.
Mhm,
And this is something that most of us have forgotten. Um, to also that we're all suffering from a form of disconnection from self and disconnection from the planet. And because of this disconnection, we are acting and behaving ways that are creating harm and suffering either to ourselves or to each other or to the planet. So their mission is to help us reconnect with, our spirit and the spirit of the earth.
mm,
Because when we come into this place of connection, then we stop, behaving in ways that would be um, disharmonious to, you know, the greater picture. So as we all know, there's great changes that are happening on the planet right now. Like you mentioned them earlier, the fires, the floods,
mm,
the earthquakes, things are happening on the planet. And this is a direct representation to the human consciousness and the way that we are behaving and our we're powerful creators as well. And when we're out of alignment to our creational energy, it starts to harm the planet. So there's nothing wrong with the planet. That's the big thing for everyone to understand. What's actually the problem is humanity and the way that we are out of balance and out of alignment with the way we're living.
Mhm.
So their messages are going to be in alignment with coming into this, form of sacred connection. They're not asking that everyone runs up to the top of the mountains and lives in the way that they live, but just to bring more order and balance into our lives and with our consciousness.
Mm.
So their direct role and mission, they are one, the guardians of the Sierra Nevada, which is considered the heart of the Americas. That area contains 25% of the world's biodiversity.
Mm.
So if anything was to happen to that area, it would be devastating for the entire planet. They've been they've been taking care of the Sierra Nevada, and that's why this side of the planet hasn't gone through as much as what the other side of the planet has. Right? We've still gone through a lot on this side, but not compared to like Europe, Asia, and Africa. So but now the work that they're doing isn't enough to maintain anything, like
Mm.
everything. So they need the help of humanity now. They're saying that now it's like our time and our turn to actually start to do what our part is. It's not something that they can carry anymore. So, as you said as well, they've been waiting for everyone to
Yeah.
come to meet, and it's not happening. So now they have certain mamos that are you know, coming out and helping getting the message out. And that's what the Kualama Foundation does. And part of our mission is as well as to support the four tribes of the Sierra Nevada with one maintaining their cultural heritage and footprint within the Sierra Nevada and to get out to have these important talks and also make sacred payments for the reconciliation with humanity and Mother Earth because they do remember the ancient ways of doing things, and many of us have forgotten, you know, and a simple example is, all of the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat. How often are we in that right sacred relationship with the earth? And, you know, because she provides everything that we need,
Mhm.
right? And how are we actually restoring that reciprocity with the earth? Because
Yeah.
everything is about energy exchange. So we've come into this time where humanity is very in the take, take, take. We're not
Yeah.
giving back enough. And because we're not giving back enough, it's created this imbalance. So it's about restoring that sacred balance with the earth again.
Mm. So beautiful. I had full body chills when you were saying that, they can't do it alone and that it's our turn to support them. And I guess in a nutshell, that's why they're coming and why you're doing everything that you're doing so that we can share this message and merge that ancient wisdom with our modern hearts and our modern times. And what would be better than that if we could really just really, I think they were also talking about just respecting different opinions and different ways of doing things. When they go to scientists want to know like facts from them, but it's like, how do they know things that they can't explain, they can't analytically, prove it, but they just know because they're so open, their hearts are so open and they're so connected. And I think that's where we're headed on this world. That's where I choose to support. And I think that's why I'm doing this, is it just feels so in resonance with a much bigger picture, and just being in ceremony with them and learning about them and making just small changes. It's not like you said, it's not like changing our entire way of living, but reaping knowledge and receiving their healing frequencies and supporting their cause. Because aren't they traveling for many years now? are they going to be starting to travel and share their message?
Yeah. So we have a group of mamos that um are have basically been chosen to go and share the message and get the message out. So they are going to travel to certain things, especially when there's areas of the planet that need healing or need that the payments for the reconciliation for humanity to kind of bring things into alignment. So the spirit of humanity can come back into alignment and harmony with the earth. We just when we were in California, we had the meeting in Mount Shasta,
Mhm.
but we also one of the big things we were there for were to make payments. So we made payments with the Mamos at Mount Shasta and the San Andreas Fault. And it'll be the same thing when they come up here. We're going to have, the meeting and the ceremony with everyone. But when we're outside of the ceremony, the Mamos will be making payments and going to, sacred places. Not that everybody else is necessarily saying, but what they receive, because they are direct communicators for Mother Earth. Like when we were with them in California, um, the first night, the first day they arrived and they were staying with us, the Kogi Mamo came out and he started playing his drum. And he
Mhm.
played his drum and was so excited because he said anytime he plays his drum in the mountains in the Sierra, it rains. So he's not allowed to play his drum for a little while. And he started playing his drum because for him, that's how he was telling Mother Earth that, I'm here. I'm here and we're listening. You tell us what we need. And then in the middle of the night, they woke up because they heard screams and crying.
Wow.
And they got up to look around and they realized it was the mountain that was
Oh,
crying. And she was saying,
wow.
everyone keeps taking and taking from me. So we
Wow.
went to make payments to give back to help with that reconciliation. So these are, very beautiful people with a very deep sacred connection, and they have such big hearts and
Mm.
very innocent as well. And uh, for them to come out of the jungle to
Yeah.
be here is a very big deal for them. It's not like you or I traveling. So if you have an opportunity to ever just sit and experience that, it is a very beautiful gift. That being said, the ones that are ready and hear the call, they'll hear the call because the
Yeah.
call isn't from them. It actually comes from Mother Earth.
Mm. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Um, so we wanted to share that this is also going to happen in New Jersey as well. There's going to be an event on December the 8th, which is Sunday, and it's in Tenafly, New Jersey at Aura Wellness. And we can put all the links in. And that's going to be a 5-hour day. Is that correct? Am I missing anything?
No, that sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have two events. The Kualama Foundation is co-hosting two events, one in New Jersey, which is only in person and live, and that is on the 8th. And then on we have the second event in at your beautiful Lunenburg Loft on the Tuesday, which will be for in person, but you have to reserve your seat ahead of time, right?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
And is it sold out yet?
No, but it's filling up quickly. I'm really thrilled, and um, yeah, so it's an intimate space, and I'm gonna probably max out at like 35 people, and we're headed in that direction. So yeah,
And then this one we're also going to stream, so it'll be available by Zoom as well, correct?
yes, it'll be available by Zoom. That's $50 for the Zoom, and it's 108 for the in-person here on December the 10th. Is that right? Yes, 10th, from 4 to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
And I also just want to share that all of the money that's being raised. So a lot of people don't always understand how they can give back, right? And by contributing to, the donations for the Kualama Foundation, you are directly making a payment back to Mother Earth and back to the guardians of Mother Earth. So that in itself is a way of giving back. And it's a gift that keeps on giving, because once they receive, the donations from the Kualama Foundation, it's going to support them, which supports the planet, which then supports all of us. So we're
Mm.
talking about the reciprocity, right? And in particular, right now we have been working with the Colombian government, okay, to get back some sacred artifacts, some gold, and these particular sacred stones that the mamos use in ceremony to heal Mother Earth that they plant within the earth. So they have about 200 kilos of their sacred artifacts and these stones that were taken and given to the royal family at one point. So for
Mm.
the last few months, we've been in, they've been trying to get all of this back for a while, but for the Kualama Foundation, we got involved over the last few months in this particular area to start to raise the funds. So we've been going back and forth with the Colombian government, and it's all getting to the point where it's all ready to come, but we actually have to pay for the shipping to get everything over. And once these objects come back, they're going to be returned to, the elders and of the four tribes in the Sierra Nevada. And like I said, they're very, it's not just about the artifacts, it's actually talking about like historical pieces that represent their power as a community, right? As these tribal villages and ancestral villages. So it's going to be a very significant um, significant act that can create a huge global impact in terms of what they're able to, increase their power for supporting Mother Earth.
Yeah, so I was going to just ask you, when you say offerings, I don't think people really understand exactly what that means when they're doing their ceremonial offerings to the earth.
So they communicate directly with her. So they receive what it is that's needed to make like payments and blessings and offerings. I'll give an example. Okay. After my time with them, like I receive in my dream time what kind of payments need to be made for the area that I live in. And this is
Mm.
because I've spent enough time with the Kogi now that it's I dream about what is out of balance in the collective consciousness. And those are messages that are coming from Mother Earth that's asking, this is actually creating harm. So we have to make payments to bring that into order, because being humanity or mankind, we can make the payments to organize that consciousness that's out of alignment. And by
Interesting.
bringing it into harmony with the planet, then it starts to create more of balance in the world. If our consciousness is continually to be out of alignment, then we're going to see more floods, more hurricanes, more natural disasters, more droughts, because this is all the reaction from what humanity's spirit is doing, or out of balance spirit is doing to the earth. So we make payments to maintain that order with Mother Earth.
Interesting. Alyssa's asking, what are some examples of offerings we can give, or what you hear um, in your dreams to do? Like, what do you do, and
I
what
think first, what we want to do is start with ourselves. Okay.
Mm.
Start with organizing your own consciousness, and you can make payments for like yourself before we start getting into the bigger like collective like patterns and issues, because uh it takes, a level of going through this kind of like initiation and make sure we're doing the right thing,
Yeah,
right? So first start with yourself, and you can make a payment with anything that you grow. So your hair, your fingernails, like, you're making an offering putting your blessings in and making an offering to the earth. That's something from you, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the first form. And that does many things. One, it's we're registering our consciousness, right, with the planet. Each time we're bringing into balance, we're registering our consciousness. We're also giving back. The planet doesn't understand like money, right? It
Right.
understands you, like your DNA, like your things you're growing. When we make payments on a bigger level, it's about the planet will be communicating with us what's needed for that area to come into alignment. So
Mm-hmm.
for that, we usually use yeah, I'm just wondering like how much of this I can share. So let me just I can feel the mamos with me right now. So I'm just gonna feel into what's important for everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
Um Okay, one is remembering like your connection. So by making an offering, sometimes in your words, your energy, and your emotions that you can bring forward in such a like a positive manner that would be sharing with the earth like that love that you hold. So
Yes.
this can actually be done in like a group field and a group consciousness where we all bring that energy and we put that energy back to the earth that is bringing a balance to what would be out of alignment. That would
Yes.
be one way.
Yeah.
Two, sometimes we may receive like specific objects or things that need to be returned. A good
Okay.
example is gold, right?
Mm.
Everyone wears gold, everyone has gold, but gold actually needs to go back into the earth. And the
Interesting.
reason why gold needs to go back into the earth because it's directly connected to the snow on top of the mountains.
Huh.
And the more gold that comes out of the planet, the more of the snow on top of the mountains starts to disappear. When there's no
Wow.
gold left in the planet, there'll be no more snow on the mountains. So, depending on what it is, this is just an example.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we only take what we have permission to take. And we don't,
Yes.
move like away from that. So one of the best payments you can do is just start to ask whether you should or shouldn't have something, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the main thing for everyone that's listening to this is it's about you want to heal the earth, start by healing yourself.
Mm.
You,
Yeah.
once you've healed yourself, you said know thyself.
Yeah.
So once you know thyself, all of this just will start to make sense and come into alignment and balance.
Wow.
The baby mamos, when they're born, they go to live in a cave for the first 11 years of their life. They don't go out in the daytime. They go out at night. They're allowed to go, they like go out at nighttime, but they spend the time in the sacred caves and it's dark, right? They're told they need to find who they are inside first, to know the world inside and the universe inside, to find the sun inside. And when they know that, then they're ready to know the world.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
which is know thyself. So, when you know who you are inside, then you can know how to speak to another. You know how to share with another. You know how to, treat another. And you wouldn't do anything to harm another because you know yourself.
Mm.
When you don't know yourself, then you're going to act out that form of not knowing yourself in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Projecting whatever, your stuff on someone else. Yeah. That's amazing. That's just amazing. And I guess what came to mind with payments, which I feel like a lot of us do. I mean, I love when I go to the ocean, I'll just, put my hands in the water or, my body in the water and just bless it and thank it and
Mhm.
send healing energy everywhere. And just words of gratitude, just and loving up on Mother Earth and wherever we step on her, it's like an honor that she's there to support us and just that deep intention of gratitude and for me saying it out loud, I think oftentimes feels really good as well. So
I think the biggest payment that humanity can make is to not put themselves superior to Mother Earth, right?
yes, yep, that makes total
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And something everybody can do as well, just as you were just saying, yeah, you can also like add on to that by singing, right?
Ah, yes,
Playing
yeah.
music. This is the celebration that Mother Earth knows and the universe knows is by singing. You may sound how you care, but spirit doesn't sound how you care,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when you sing. So it's important to start singing our songs again, playing our instruments. The Cookie
Mm,
Mama, when he got his drum out, he only played for about 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, I felt it was probably the most powerful activation I've ever experienced in my life when in that 2 minutes where I was going through, an initiation for months after.
it's
He
amazing.
didn't say anything,
Yeah.
but just connected with that spirit, that true, our sacred songs and remembering how important that is. So
Yeah.
anytime we go through these massive awakening walks, in the jungle, after everything's said and done, the to complete everything, the mamas always say, "You got to dance, you got to sing, right? You got to dance,
Keep
you
it
got to
light,
sing."
right? Yeah.
So it's like the music opens and the music closes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Just so heart-based and light and simple and just experience joy. I love it.
Mm.
Love it, love it. So, is there anything else that you wanna share before we close?
Yeah, just we're really grateful that for the mamos for making the journey. I know it's a big journey for them. We're grateful to you, Kristen, for really stepping forward and offering, the space and putting this event together and showing your support for this as well, and just being of service. I I think if you're resonating with this message, then and you can feel it in your heart or you're just curious about it, then you can join the Zoom event if you can't make the live. And just it's such a beautiful opportunity to really connect with the mamos of the Sierra Nevada, and just to hear their messages, and it's going to open you up to a lot. I think it really, they have a direct way of speaking that's to the heart.
Definitely. I definitely felt it in Mount Shasta, and look, they're coming here. It's pretty amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. Oh, Sophia says she loves singing. Well, keep it up. I love it. I'll put all the links for the events and the Kamala Foundation, and feel free to comment with any questions, and we can get back to you with more specifics. And I'm so grateful for this time together with you, Richard. Thank you so much for all that you do, and I'm just so blessed to be able to be part of this. Thank you so much. Thank you,
I hope.
everyone. Aho.